brand new video today. We're doing two NBA player props here over on PrizePicks for Tuesday, February 25th, Taco Tuesday on PrizePicks. I think the taco is probably going to drop soon over on PrizePicks, but I do have two player props here for today's NBA slate, two NBA player props. Before we get started, you guys take a look in the description below of the video. Hop into the Discord. $9.30 per month, 31 cents per day. So I post all the plays I'm making on PrizePicks. There's other cappers in there as well. Overall, it's a super positive community. Everyone in there just trying to help each other cash. I think, again, link in the description below for that. Again, currently doing a promo code as well right now. First-time members of the Discord, 20% off your first month. Using promo code TUFF with the link in the description below. It comes out to like $6 for the full 30 days in the Discord. But want to make this video brief, quick, concise as possible. Got two player props. Both these plays are going to be NBA first half props here, so you got to toggle over to the NBA first half lines. Again, I like to take first half when there's some blowout risk, obviously, and again, some players just play better in the first half compared to the second half. But let's just get into this. So the first play I'm looking at is going to be Emmanuel Quickly over 15 fantasy score against Boston. Emmanuel Quickly, very talented player, very good player. I think if you follow the NBA, he's one of those guys that when he's healthy and playing a full amount of minutes, he's very, very productive. But looking at this matchup, it's going to be a Boston-Toronto in Toronto, which teams travel to Toronto. It's tough. You have to go through customs and things like that. So hopefully it gives Toronto some home court, advantage in this one. But Quickly, no injury designation or anything like that. Expected to play a decent amount of minutes. I think he has actually kind of had that minutes restriction somewhat lifted, playing 30 plus in 5 of his last 5 games, coming off a really, really productive game, probably his best game of the year, against a very horrible Phoenix defense. 50.2 fantasy points, 30 minutes, 23, 6, 8, 2, 1, only 1 turnover, taking 15 shots. He's going to take around 12 to 15 shots a game in this Toronto offense. But taking a look here over on Outlier, again, there's a link in the description below. You guys can get a 7-day free trial with Outlier. Again, elite research betting tool that I do use every single day. But we look at this line, over 15 fantasy score for Emmanuel Quickly. He's over this line in 8 of 10 home games this season, right? This season, 2024, at home, over an 8 of 10. Even if we filter this to last season, right, when he plays at home, 16 of 28. But again, he got traded to Toronto towards the end of last season. You can see the hit rate once he got traded over to Toronto. Again, I think he was with the Knicks for the beginning of the year, gets traded to Toronto, becomes the starter in Toronto, and then just goes on a tear. But we know that the Boston Celtics can't really guard point guards, scoring point guards, and we know as well that I believe Jrue Holiday's out for this one. Just taking a elite, perimeter defender out of the lineup here. Yeah, no Jrue Holiday, and Al Horford's questionable as well. But going back to this one here, Emmanuel Quickly is over in 2 of his last 2 home games versus Boston. One of these with Toronto, one of these with the Knicks. But last season, 21.4 first half fantasy points against Boston at home, and then 17.1 with the Knicks versus Boston as well. Again, head-to-head, he's over in 2 of his last 4. Has these 2 matchups, obviously, when he was with the Knicks, coming off the bench, and things like that. But nonetheless, 2024, this season, he's over in 12 of 18, averaging 16.8 fantasy points. But again, filtering at home, he's over in 8 of 10. His actual splits, I believe, as well, home versus away, are pretty solid, his splits actually on the road are a little bit better, but he has played almost 4 less minutes at home. So for a player like Emmanuel Quickly, I'm not really looking too deep into that, because when you do look at this hit rate for him at home when he plays, he's averaging 14.9 minutes, first half minutes. I think a floor for him here is 14 first half minutes. But the home versus away splits for him, 8 of 10 at home, 12 of 18 at home, 16.8 fantasy point average over the course of the season for him. Again, he's only played 18 games, but over his last 5, over in 4 of his last 5, averaging 19.7 first half fantasy points. We look at other guards, players game log or first half fantasy score game log this season versus Celtics when playing at least 12 plus minutes. This is really just since the end of January till now. We're seeing a pretty solid hit rate on this line. Josh Hart, Spencer Dinwiddie 16.7, Kyrie 17.2. Kyrie had 17.2 and only scored 4 points. But Jalen Brunson, 18.5. Ricky Council, 13 minutes, had 19.5. And then Tyrese Maxey obviously going crazy. And you can compare Tyrese Maxey's offensive game and offensive skill set, very, very similar, in my opinion at least, to Emmanuel Quickly. Right? Super quick, effective off the pick and roll, able to get into the lane, put the floater up, shoot the 3 ball, get to the basket. So Tyrese Maxey put up 28 and 31 against this Boston defense. I really do like this spot for Emmanuel quickly at 15. Again, he's been on fire as of late. If you just even on PrizePicks looking at the last 5, right, you would be inclined to take the over on this one. So Emmanuel quickly over 15 fantasy scores the first play. The second one, I'm going all the way down here to the Laker game, right? Lakers, Dallas. I like Rui Hachimura over 12.5. He's been playing really well as of late, just in general. But more specifically, I think when him playing with Luka kind of opens up, I think one, just his confidence, but number two, kind of in this offense, JJ Redick offense, they really need Rui Hachimura to knock down shots. Just taking a look here again, back on Outlier, over 8 of his last 10 games, right? 8 of his last 10, averaging 18.4 first half fantasy points. He did have a 28-point game, 22-point game as far as first half fantasy points go, but still 8 of his last 10, which is solid hit rate over his last 10, right? You like to look at players that are in solid form, and over his last 20, he's over in 11 of his last 20. But again, if you take away these first 4 games, that would have been like, what, 11 of his last 16, which again, very, very solid hit rate in my opinion. Last 20 at home, over in 12 of 20. Last 10 at home, over in 6 of 10, over in 3 of 3. But to me, the most crucial aspect here is 2024 with Luka Doncic. With Luka, right? Let's see this. With Luka, actually 2024, I don't know why. So with Luka in 2024, 17, 15.9, 22.5, 12 fantasy, averaging 16.8 fantasy first half fantasy points this season with Luka. Now, if we look here at Rui Hachimura, home versus away splits, pretty split, right? Pretty even, 13, 5, and 1. He has been playing, like I said, extremely well, and he has been playing a ton of minutes. He's actually averaging, what is he averaging? 17.3 fantasy first half minutes with Luka on the floor. Now, if we look at NBA off on court, real quick, again, I'm trying to get you guys on this as soon as possible. NBA off on court. We look at this here, and we go to the Lakers. I just want to look at Rui's per 36-minute averages. Let's see. With Luka on the floor, right? That's what we want. Luka Doncic on the floor. This season, right, hasn't been a ton of games, obviously. Rui Hachimura is averaging 34.2 fantasy points per 36 minutes with Luka on the floor. Okay? With Luka on the floor, Rui's averaging 34.2, 1 fantasy point per minute, right? Which is an increase if compared to off the court, 6.5 fantasy points per 36 and 0.2 fantasy points per minute, which again is the highest increase of any player that gets significant minutes. Obviously, Vanderbilt and Dalton Knecht both come off the bench for the Lakers. Also, we look at forward players game log this season versus the Dallas Mavericks when you're logging 12 plus minutes. I mean, just look at some of these lines for people. This is just in their last, 5-6 games. Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green both had 22 plus. Zion Williamson 24. Kyle Anderson 15.8. Jaime Jaquez 12.3. Jimmy Butler 20.8. Tari Eason 12.1. Amen Thompson 17. All 3 of these guys went crazy. Kelly Oubre 15.6, Yabusele 13.8. Like continuous hit rate here for forwards, wings, big forward wings like Rui Hachimura is. Again, it's kind of hard to put a position on him specifically with LeBron on the floor and Luka, because obviously Luka's a PG, but defensively Luka plays like a little bit more of the 3 and the 4, and probably more closer to the 4 in my opinion. But let me know in the comments below. Here are the 2 player props for this video. Quickly, Rui Hachimura, both first half fantasy score lines. Please drop a like on this video, you guys. Take a look in the description below. Hop into the Discord, and as always, let's cash.